Hello, my motor enthusiasts. Welcome back to F1 Motor Fever podcast.
Hi there, Enzo. I hear the Formula One preseason testing at Bahrain has begun.
Indeed, William. An exciting start with Max Verstappen of Red Bull topping the timing screens by a significant 1.1 seconds.
Blimey, sounds like he's off to a flying start. What about the other teams?
Scuderia Ferrari, McLaren, Haas F1, BWT Alpine F1 and Sauber all had productive sessions, gathering valuable data and observing strong performances from their drivers.
So, no major hiccups for any of them.
It wasn't all smooth sailing, William. Williams faced some challenges with Alex Albon having a fuel pump failure and Logan Sargent encountering a driveshaft problem.
Oh dear, the first day and already some issues. But I suppose testing is for ironing out these kinks.
Precisely, William. This is what preseason testing is all about. The teams will no doubt make the necessary adjustments for the upcoming days.
I can't wait to hear more about it, Enzo. Sounds like the start of an intriguing season.
Hey everyone, you already know me. This is your host Enzo. You're joined by William today.
Hello, Motorheads.
We're here, same time every day with you all on channel F1 Motor Fever podcast. Don't forget to hit subscribe and ring that notification bell. Full throttle, let's dive in. Let's talk about Max Verstappen's stellar performance. He not only did the most mileage of all the drivers on the opening day, but also topped the timing screens after 8 hours of track time by a whopping 1.1 seconds.
Quite the achievement. It seems like he's really comfortable with the new Red Bull RB20.
Absolutely. And according to Red Bull's head of race engineering, Gianpiero Lambiase, they've already tested most of the fundamentals and have a solid base to build upon for the following days of testing.
That's promising. And how about Ferrari?
Scuderia Ferrari's Charles Leclerc and Carlos Sainz both got behind the wheel of the SF24. Their program was pretty much the same, lapping with various fuel loads and running the C2 and C3 compound tires.
So, they're really trying to understand the car in all conditions.
Indeed. They were primarily seeing how well the track data correlated to that gathered through digital modeling and in the wind tunnel.
You know, I've never thought about it from that angle. It's a good point to ponder how the virtual modeling and real-life performance align.
Now here's a bit of trivia for our listeners. Do you know which circuit has the most turns in the Formula One calendar?
I do. It's the Marina Bay Street Circuit in Singapore, with 23 turns, if I'm not mistaken.
That's right. But did you also know that the Bahrain International Circuit, where the preseason testing is taking place, has a whopping 15 turns and is 5.41 kilometers long?
Fascinating. A challenging track indeed, which can really test a car's performance.
Exactly. And it's these diverse circuits that make Formula One such an exciting sport to follow. The varying lengths, number of twists and turns, and even the atmospheric conditions all significantly impact the racing strategies and outcomes. Seems like Charles Leclerc and Carlos Sainz are remaining level-headed about their performance on the first day. Leclerc has stated that it's too early to comment on the performance, but it seems things are going ahead as expected.
It's the same with Carlos Sainz. He clocked in 373 kilometers on the first day of testing, which is impressive. He echoed Charles' sentiments about it being too early to draw conclusions.
Meanwhile, over at McLaren, Lando Norris seems to be having a positive experience with the new car. He mentioned that the car was reliable on track and that it was a joy to be back behind the wheel.
And let's not forget Oscar Piastri, who also had a smooth first day. According to him, there are some differences from last year's car, but they're moving in the right direction.
Exactly. And Jose Manuel Lopez, McLaren's head of testing, seems to agree. With 130 laps completed, they're already learning about the aerodynamic performance of the newly unveiled MCL38. It'll be interesting to see how they fare in the upcoming days of testing. Moving on to Haas F1 team, Kevin Magnussen seems to be quite chipper. He's mentioned that they've really focused on long runs and addressing the tire issues they had last year.
That's right, and Nico Hülkenberg echoed the same sentiment. They've managed to conduct high-fuel, long runs without any technical issues. With 82 laps under their belt, they've certainly achieved their goals for the day.
Indeed, and their team principal, Ayao Komatsu, seems to agree. He pointed out that they've generated useful data from their long-run tire management strategy. Though not perfect, he considered the first day a decent start.
And isn't that what preseason testing is all about? It's a chance to iron out the kinks before the real competition begins.
Absolutely. And let's not forget about Alpine. They got down to business with their season preparations. The 2024 Challenger, the A524, has already made its debut on the track.
And both Esteban and Pierre have had a chance behind the wheel.
Right. So all in all, it seems like the teams have had a productive first day of preseason testing. The focus now is on understanding these new cars, ironing out the issues, and getting ready for the season ahead. It's still early days, but the outlook is quite optimistic.
I couldn't agree more. There's plenty of things to look forward to as preseason testing continues. I'm excited to see how it all unfolds.
It seems like Alpine drivers Esteban Ocon and Pierre Gasly have had a positive day of testing. Ocon managed to get 60 laps in during the morning, and Gasly echoed the sentiment that the initial feeling of the car is good.
That's true, but let's not forget that this is just the first day of testing. While it's important to have a positive start, the real test is consistency over the duration of the preseason tests.
That's a fair point, but wouldn't you agree that starting on a good note sets the tone for the rest of the tests?
Not necessarily. A positive start is good, yes, but it's more about how the team responds to obstacles when they crop up. That's the real test.
I see merit in your point, but still believe the start can be a momentum builder.
Well, it's perfectly normal for us to disagree on this. The most important thing is to keep an open mind.
True that, I'll ponder over your viewpoint. Now, moving on to Sauber, they've had quite a productive day too. On the Sauber side, Zhou Guanyu seems to share a similar sentiment as most drivers. They've completed their program for the day, focusing on long runs and experimenting with different setups. Now that's a positive start, but it's worth noting that it's just the start. The real test is yet to come.
Absolutely. It's the same story every year. The teams are all optimistic at the start of testing, but the real challenges reveal themselves as we get closer to the season.
True, and speaking of challenges, Williams F1 doesn't seem to have had the best day. Head of Vehicle Performance Dave Robson admitted that it wasn't as smooth as they had hoped. They had to end both sessions early due to a fuel pump failure and a driveshaft problem.
That's rather unfortunate indeed.
While they managed to do some useful work, it's clear that there are issues that need to be addressed. And if they're not sorted out soon, they could potentially hinder the team's performance as the season unfolds.
I agree. It's early days, but these issues can't be overlooked. They need to be addressed promptly to avoid any major setbacks moving into the season.
Exactly. It's all very well to acknowledge the challenges and remain optimistic, but action needs to be taken swiftly if they're to stand a fighting chance this season.
Couldn't have said it better myself. It's quite the situation they find themselves in.
As we discuss the trials and tribulations of the first day of testing, it's imperative to give due credit to the drivers as well. Logan Sargent, for instance, is maintaining a positive outlook despite only completing 21 laps and acknowledging balance issues.
Yes, that just shows the level of resilience and adaptability these drivers have. They're always ready to make the most of whatever situation they find themselves in.
Indeed, and Alex Albon from Williams is another one who's doing just that. Despite a fuel pump issue, he managed to make the most of his session. He rightly points out that it's too early to fully understand the car's capabilities, and they're already combating balance issues.
Balancing optimism with realism is an essential quality in this game, isn't it?
Absolutely. It's this balance that keeps the teams going through the highs and the lows, the victories and the setbacks. As we wait for more team reports, it's clear that this testing period is the beginning of what promises to be another thrilling season in Formula One. Now, William, you always have your ear to the ground. Have you come across anything interesting on the internet forums?
Actually, I do have something here. Outlandishness Pure 2 posted, quote, Grand Prix reaction to Max going 0.822 seconds faster than P2, unquote.
Ah, the hot topic of the moment. What's the fans' response?
Well, Rosie Yu laughed and commented on Adrian Newey's smile. Quote, Newey was smiling as well, lol, unquote. But, quite hilariously, Dun Tiger highlighted Newey's casual attire. Quote, Newey didn't even bother wearing the team gear. Still on holidays, unquote.
And what did the other fans have to say?
Uterma made a joke, quote, F1 news outlets, Newey to Ferrari confirmed, unquote. In response, Wiener 5 said, quote, that'd be bigger than Lewis going, unquote.
Ha, any other insightful comments?
TechnoGamer10 imagined a conversation. Quote, Random Jobsworth. Excuse me, Mr. Newey, I'm going to have to request you put your uniform on. Or what? Conversation over, unquote. And lastly, Antivirals underscored an interesting point. Quote, as they always say, if you see a double nod among the engineers during testing, then they're doing really, really well with the car. Last season in testing, some Aston engineers did the same. A double nod is what you look for, unquote.
Oh, the double nod. A telltale sign of confidence, I reckon. But it's always up for debate whether it's genuine or just a facade. The season is just heating up after all. Let's see how it all unfolds. That's all we have for you today on F1 Motor Fever podcast. We've had a fantastic time discussing the ins and outs of the latest Grand Prix, the drivers' resilience, and the fans' reactions. Your company has been much appreciated. If you've enjoyed this episode, do us a favor and hit that subscribe button. Don't forget to activate notifications so you never miss out on our daily episodes.
And while you're at it, why not spread the love? Be the talk of the town at the pub, bring us up around the dinner table, or drop our name in your online chats. Get your friends and family to join our Formula One family here at F1 Motor Fever podcast. There's always something exciting happening in the world of racing, and we can't wait to discuss it all with you.
Absolutely. Your comments, shares, and likes truly mean the world to us. So keep them coming, and let's keep this conversation going.
Remember, we're here every day, punctual as a pit stop. So gear up for another exciting episode tomorrow. Until then, keep your engines revving.
Yes, thanks again for joining us. We're excited for what's to come, and we hope you are too. Until next time, pedal to the metal, keep your gaze on the road. Our channel's content is pure gold.